What's good, YouTube? Thank you for tuning in again to another episode of PER. Doing something a little bit different. We're going to talk about a couple things. Biggest thing that came, if you saw the thumbnail, you already know. But we've upgraded. We've gotten another 30 spots of hatchling racks. I did stick with the Reptile Basics hybrid rack systems. I think they're great for their price point. And, you know, I had them local. I didn't even get them shipped. Went local to the show. Shout out to Constricted Reptiles, Dale, for being able to have them in stock and being able to have the hatchling racks. As many of you know, there are plenty of DIY. Putting my notes down, guys. Try to keep track of this one. DIY rack builds. There's plenty of different ones. Shoebox, 6-quart tubs. All of those things work great. There's no wrong answer. You can go all the way from the Freedom Breeder, decked out, all stainless, to your DIY Home Depot plastic in 6-quart tubs, and the ball pythons thrive. There is no right or wrong way you can figure out what you do. So yeah, I just stick with them because it all looks uniformity. At the end, you know, we'll show you what the room looks like when we zoom out. A couple things we wanted to discuss before that was just why we had to do that. So we have 6 clutches in the incubator right now. We've produced already 4 clutches, total eggs, saying that they're all viable and, you know, nothing happens. Keep your fingers crossed. We'll have 63 healthy hatchlings, and I had like 44 spots. So the benefit of the Reptile Basics, if you haven't seen them, is they are interchangeable with 3 different sides. They have the V8, which is a really thin one that's meant for hatchlings. You can keep them up in there about 300 grams. Once they get to about 350, they're a little tight, and you really got to take them out. Then they have the it's V11s, not V8s, V11s. And then the V18, which is slightly wider. And that'll hold a ball python, as far as I can tell, to about 700, 750 grams is where I'm comfortable. I've heard some people take them up to 800, and they're, you know, preference, it's up to you. And then you have the V23s, which is as wide as the rack is, and that pretty much holds a ball python up to about 14 to 1500 grams comfortably. After that, it's a little too small, a little too tight. Especially if you're trying to breed and introduce a male in there. Yeah, it's not going to work. It's just too small of a tub. Then I got these guys. So we're currently on a 4 size thing right here. So grows. I will be getting another one of these 55-40 racks. Fantastic for adults. And I will have grow outs probably late this year. Early next year that we'll be needing to get into these tubs, so I will have to upgrade, and you know, we'll get there when we get there. Hopefully these hatchlings can pay for it. I will be doing future videos of what these hatchlings look like, but in the meantime, let's get back to what the setup looks like, guys. Alright guys, not as much space as I'd like to maneuver around, but it's good enough to give you an idea of what we now look like. So there's the tubs. That's the 55-40 series hybrid. All but 2 of them are full. This is the original one that I had from when I first started with the Animal Plastics. It's 2 levels high. There's an older model of 5 and then one of 6. So 11. So that's 33. Then I got 2 of the same one of 5 levels. So that's another 30, which puts us at a total of 63 potential hatchlings. And then my DIY, you see I currently use a couple for shelves, and I am missing a couple to fill it out, but it's 9 tall for 27, which would bring us a total to 90 if I was able to fill it up. But you can see right here, I still do use some of them for some grow outs, and I will have to be buying another 55-40 here soon. I expect that's going to come probably September, October, later in the year. I don't need anything right now. They can go pretty big up into these tubs, so I'm not too concerned. And I do have the 23 series. I keep all spare tubs underneath. They're right underneath my Dragon Ball Z playmat. But yeah, you can see I have different size tubs there, some spares there. The room's a little tight, but you get the idea. Anyway, yeah, so potentially I'm sitting at about 130 potential ball pythons if I went with everything in there and then filled out the tubs. There's Steve. What up, man? Inspired me. Didn't even really watch Animal Planet until his show came out. So awesome. But yeah, here we go. So pan out, get a little bit of the wider angle here. You can see there's the incubator with 6 clutches in it. Next clutch coming out the 4th, guys. And there it is. There's the rack. Alright, guys. Hope you enjoyed that setup. Hope you thought it looked cool. Understand where I'm coming from. More changes coming, probably in the September time frame, where I will be expanding so that other rack will fit. Stay tuned for videos. Future videos going to be clutch videos. Clutch number 4 is out, and all of them but one have shed. They should be taking their first meals on Friday. Should be filming it this weekend, and then will be releasing that video next week. Part of that is that when I be able to sell a snake, I hope to actually be able to link the snake to the video, so the people who purchased the snakes from me can actually go back to their hatchling videos or their reveal videos. See what's there. But yeah, so that's down the wire. And the second thing is, somebody did ask in one of my previous comments what I keep all my snakes at, temp-wise, and how I care for them. So living in Florida, humidity is not a struggle for me. I do have a sensor push. If you don't have one, I'll put a link in the bottom. Highly recommend for reptile keepers. They're awesome. I sit at about 70% humidity, all the tubs wide. Reptile basics, they tend to vary depending on, because they're not perfect, if there's space or not. Some of my tubs, depending on the level they are, I know that I've had to drill some holes, or I'll get up to 85, and it's just a little too much. The Coco just absorbs and gets a little too funky for me, a little too mildewy. And I always have to change it. I do use Coco. I've recently switched, and probably am not switching back unless something changes, to Coco to go from D Exotics, Chris Davenport. It's pre-mixed, huge bag, slightly more than the bricks, but the convenience for me of, I guess you call it what it is, being lazy and just being able to rip open a giant bag of Coco and start filling tubs and changing, not having to go to the sink and put holes in and expand. If you've done it, you know what I'm talking about. But I love Coco, and I love Coco to go. So if you haven't checked out D's Exotics for his product with Coco to go, definitely good for me. And then temp wise, it's actually funny, on this tub right here, if you don't know them, they have heat panels. I have a 2-probe thermostat on there. I've tried different levels from 8, 7, and 6, and then 2, 3, and 4. That's where my 2 probes are. I do use a temp gun to check the back and the snakes. And I actually had to set the entire rack, based on my thermostat, at 85 degrees. Most people, I don't know if you've done this, so leave a comment if you have. 85 degrees, and the hot spot still sits at 89 or 90, depending on which level. There's about a degree variation. Sometimes you'll see 88, but it doesn't consistently stay there. So it's about 3 degrees hotter in the tubs than what I seem to set it to, and have the probe resting right on the heat. On the animal plastics, I keep them all at 88, and they seem to shoot at about 89 when I check the temp. So keep all the animals, I try to, at about 89 degrees, and they thrive. The ambient temperature in this room, we keep the AC at 75, and the room sits between 77 and 78 degrees. Never had any problems with it. So yeah, that's kind of what I do. And like I said, 70% humidity. I think that 60 to 70 range is where you want to be for these guys. And then, yeah, so. But anyway, if you haven't, like, share, and subscribe. Hit a thumbs up, bell notifications so you can get when I drop a video. And leave a comment. Follow me on Perfectly Engineered Reptiles on Instagram. I update more frequently on there. And yeah, stay tuned next week for the clutch reveal. As always, thanks, guys.